Hi, how are you guys today? This is Michelle from Erie River Publishing, and we have a spectacular, exciting day today. We are going to be speaking with our author, Drew Starling, about his brand new book, his debut novel, Sentinel. So, Drew, are you ready? Yeah, we're doing it. Hi, how are you?
Hello, Michelle. I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. So we're here today talking because we've got your book coming out in May, which is very exciting. Yeah.
Sorry, weird prop. Yeah. Yes, I'm very excited.
Well, show us this again. This is the hard copy.
I mean,
well, the original hard copy.
it's the soft, sweaty, worn down, rotten hard copy with lots of notes and scribbles
Exactly.
and
Red lines and
yeah,
everything else like that.
back from the
Well,
summer.
well, that's exciting to see because, like sometimes you just need to hold it in your hand to make
I
it
know.
real, right?
Yeah. And yeah, it became real for me a little bit yesterday when we finally did the cover reveal, and it was like,
Yeah.
wow, it's actually happening now 3 years later. So
I know this has been
fun.
a pretty exciting journey because this started out as just like, obviously,
Yes.
as every story starts off as just like a little dream, and
Yeah.
now it's becoming reality, or else it's becoming reality pretty soon.
Yeah. Well, this started off as not a dream, but more of a jet lag nightmare that I literally had
Yeah.
3 years ago at a cabin because I had come back from a trip from India. And I was at this cabin with a bunch of friends and my wife, and it was this beautiful, picturesque cabin out in the woods, and it overlooked this big hill with this big meadow. And then I was like laying in bed at 3 a.m. or whatever, and I saw this thing come out of the woods that was this weird shape and a kind of misty feel, like, and there was like mist in the meadow, and it walked all the way across. And I was like, what the F is that? And so I couldn't go back to sleep, and so started formulating the story in my head. And yeah, here it is. I don't know what I thought it was going to be, but
Wow.
it's
So you're
going to be a
saying that
novel.
this creature is real and you saw it?
Definitely. I can tell you exactly where it is. I will send a Google Maps pinpoint to your Patreons so they can go seek this thing out if they want.
Be like, this is where the monster is. Oh,
Yeah.
we've got some people saying hi. Hi, David.
David, my man, how are you, buddy?
Well, no, it's just really exciting to see this kind of thing like come to fruition. And we've got a couple of people joining us. We have Cara Stevens. Hello.
Hey, Kara.
But yeah.
Yeah.
So we have a treat for everyone that's watching. We have the official trailer. So without further ado, may we show you this exciting little trailer I put together. And it also just showcases the awesome artwork that's on this cover, because it's just, the cover is superb. It really gets right. Yeah, it has a really good vibe, exactly like the book. So I love it. So here we go. Sorry. I love it.
The first time I saw that, I didn't know what the volume situation was on my phone, and didn't expect there to be sound, and it was that like boom, and it like woke everybody up. It's aggressive, but yeah, I was like, wow, 3-dimensional auditory, visual.
It's good. Now, tell us about. So, how about you read us tell us about the book. Read us the blurb. Get us in there.
Yeah,
and then we'll talk a little bit about the cover and how everyone can get their hands on this.
All right, I'll do my best movie trailer voice. How far would you go to get your son back? A monster, a missing boy, and nowhere to turn. Something is lurking in the woods just beyond Aaron and Ellen Dryer's new country home. and an evil that has been hiding in plain sight for centuries is about to emerge. A neighbor is brutally murdered. Their 4-year-old son goes missing in broad daylight, and the local town of Bensalem devolves into a cesspool of finger-pointing and chaos. With nowhere left to turn, Aaron and Ellen are forced to venture into the woods to find their son and the truth. But in the process, they uncover a force larger and more sinister than anything they ever could have imagined. From Erie River Publishing comes the debut supernatural horror novel from the #1 best-selling horror author Drew Starling, Sentinel.
Bum, bum, bum.
Yes. And I should also mention that this is the first book in a series, which is going to be 2 books long, hopefully, at least. But yeah, I'm excited. What should we reveal? Should we do, reveal anything? Introduce to the characters or something?
We do need to, you had a little bit of a name a character.
Oh, yeah. So back in August, I put out a call. This was my most popular Facebook post by 1,000 miles. I basically was looking for names for the dog, and it's a German Shepherd, an older German Shepherd who is a little bit like the secret in touch with metaphysical things, guardian of the family. I will just spoil one thing and tell everybody right now that the dog does not die. I think that's important for people to know. But others, anyway. I asked for the names.
I think a lot of people will appreciate that you don't end up killing the dog in the first one.
Yeah, might die in the second, but who knows? So
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
We had 80 people respond, and I waffled between 2 choices. One was Raven, and I really wanted to go with a Raven, and I initially did because I'm from Baltimore and a Ravens fan, and it actually was a name that fit the dog, the character of the dog. But I ended up going with a suggestion from someone we know, Nick Moore, who suggested the name Cooper. And the name Cooper just sort of stuck out to me because there's one scene, which you may know what I'm talking about, where it is the name of the dog is yelled a lot, repeatedly. And it's a very tense moment in the book. And I was like, Raven didn't really work there, but Cooper really worked there, I felt. So we went with Cooper. And I also sort of 25% named him after Matthew McConaughey in Interstellar. His name is
25%.
I'm addicted to that movie, which my wife will tell you all about. I actually, during our wedding, when I was giving my speech, talked about it. It was we're not going to go there today, but anyway, Cooper was just perfect. So yes, the dog's name is Cooper. He has quickly become one of my favorite characters because as a dog owner, I felt like I could write a dog as an actual character, not just a prop.
Yeah.
And so he's been fun.
I think a lot of people will appreciate that because you did give your dog a lot of character and a place in the book as a character, and not just kind of I mentioned the dog passed through the room. So
yeah.
So that's really exciting.
Yeah.
So we've got your book coming out. Sorry, I'm just looking so I can have there we go. So if you are looking to order the book, we have pre-orders on right now for $2.99, which is our pre-order special. It will be going up $1 once it's released to $3.99. So get it now if you want it. Drew, do you want to give us a little bit, any more little
Sure.
Or
here's something that I don't reveal in the blurb, but you and I went back and forth on this. There's another character in this book who steals the show, I think, kind of, who is not Aaron or Ellen Dreyer. In the middle, actually, no, not in the middle anymore. In sort of the first.
I know we went through some exciting
Yeah.
heavy edits on this one. Well, on
And
all of the books we tend to, but
yeah, well, basically, you said, Michelle, like, we need to get to this character faster because this woman is like she's the star. And I totally agree. Her name is Deputy Cheryl McNamara, and she is a mid-50s kind of Appalachian, very tough as nails deputy sheriff of this little tiny department. And I won't give away too much, but she is also trying to figure out what's going on, but not quite in sync with everybody else. And I don't know if I'm giving away too much here, but she is actually the star of the next book, supposedly.
you just told everyone she doesn't die.
Well,
All right. Well, if
no, it
anybody
doesn't
has
mean
any
she doesn't die.
questions now,
It doesn't
now
mean
is the
she doesn't
time
die.
to put on. So far he's given away 2 things. The dog does not die.
Yeah.
3 things. There is a book number 2, and Cheryl is going to be a part of book number 2. But that's all we're giving.
Yep.
That's it.
I
So we
promise
do
I
have a
won't
couple.
put it in there.
We have Neen saying good morning. She's from Australia. Good morning, Neen.
Good morning, Neen. Oh, I hope it's good weather down there.
And then Luke, this really does sound great. Well, we're glad. Yeah, it's a very like a really psychological, thrilling kind of horror. Like it does delve into the supernatural, which for me I really love. I love having that. I'm not saying it's like it's essential, but for me I love reading those types of books where it's just something other than a human being, because I feel like we get enough crappy human beings in the world. So sometimes it's fun to see stories that are written like that. Okay, we've got a question right here.
Oh, who was the hardest character to write? I'm going to give a 2-part answer. The hardest character for me to write was the son, the 4-year-old, because I think they're difficult to write in an adult book. And finally, it just took me a little bit of wavering, but I needed to just nail what. First of all, we wavered on his age, and 6 months at that age can be like a wildly different person. So we really nailed down his age, and that helped. But I also, frankly, had trouble writing Aaron, the main character, I guess one of the main characters at times, who in a lot of ways is most like me personally. So maybe that should have been the easiest. But I also really struggled with how much to make him flawed versus how much to just make him sort of like a person that just carries the story through. On the flip side, maybe the easiest character to write was Ellen, his wife, and she actually I think is one of the more complicated, one of the more layered, and one of definitely my favorite characters. But I just had this idea of who she was very clear in my mind when it started. She's an emergency room doctor. And so anybody who's worked in emergency medicine, I have a good friend who has. These people are just tough as nails, and like they are unfazed by everything. And so knowing somebody in that world helped write Ellen. And as a contrast, Aaron is not that. I'll leave it at that. But they have different personalities and different strengths and certainly weaknesses. So, Aaron was hard to write. Caleb, the little boy, was definitely hard to write, but I think it's kind of hard to write kids, but Aaron was hard to write. Thanks.
Yeah, it just kind of, I can see writing children is really difficult, mainly because you have to be really consistent with them, and kids are inconsistent. Like,
yeah,
because when you started at one point, you were thinking it's going to be a 3-year-old, and to me, I have a 3-year-old, and I was like, 3-year-olds do nothing but like scream at you.
yeah. And then we were going to go
and
5,
then play and then scream. Like demand things. So I think changing the age was really good, and making it a 4-year-old was exactly where we needed to go. For you though, I do have a question. You kind of said one was based on you, but were any of the characters actually based on you, or were any of the characters based on people that you know? Like, did you base any one personality?
Aaron character is definitely based on me in a lot of ways. Aaron goes through a similar experience at the beginning of the book, literally just sort of lining up my personal experience of being awake at a weird time for a weird reason and noticing something, and then it just kind of spirals out of control.
Yeah.
Yes, Neen, this 4-year-old does some screaming as well.
Yeah.
And a lot of crying. They cry at everything.
Oh,
Um,
kids are always crying.
yeah. Ellen is based, there's actually a woman that I do jujitsu with, believe it or not, I do jujitsu, and kind of like for whatever reason had her in my mind when I was thinking of this person and combining with my other ER doctor friend, like,
Yeah.
and took them together and like they're a character. But Cheryl McNamara, who is the deputy that I mentioned, I don't know anybody like her. Actually, I guess I should say,
is she a combination of multiple people? Like you just
she kind of
some of the best characteristics.
Some people might know that I'm a huge Cormac McCarthy fan, and his book / movie, No Country for Old Men, Tommy Lee Jones plays this old grizzled, and I kind of like had him in mind at some points, but made her younger and more sharp. But I don't know. I spent a lot of time in that area and kind of have a feel for the people in that area of the world, and so it was sort of easy to write her. I thought hopefully people in rural Virginia don't think that I botched it, but I think she's been a great character. Everybody said that she's been a treat, so I'm really looking forward to people getting to know Cheryl.
All right, me too, because I enjoyed all the characters, but for whatever reason I really connected with that one. So before we wrap up, let's just give one more little
David
summary.
has a question. David has a question too.
Oh yeah.
Why is Sentinel one of the best sounding and looking words in the English language? Funny you should ask, David. I have no idea actually, but I did do. I'm really not going to reveal this, but in the blurb,
I'm like, if you say it out loud, you officially revealed it.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm not going to say anything out loud though. I'm going to think it, but no. It says hundreds of years old thing in the blurb. That it says. Yeah. So as part of that, I researched some early modern English and some old English, and there are some elements of things, and the word sentinel was chosen for a very specific reason, and you'll see why. But yeah, it is a great word. It's strong. Yeah. And it also reminds me of the guys from the X-Men cartoon. I don't know if anybody watched that, circa 1992. They were the main bad guys in the very first episode. And so, how could I ever get that out of my head?
Never. You're never going to get it out of your head. That's excellent. All right. So for people that are just joining in, tell us elevator pitch. What is the Sentinel? Yes. What are we getting ourselves into? What can we expect from this amazing book?
So the Sentinel is, yeah, you're good. It is a supernatural horror story that I think is a quick and fast and exciting read, where we are presented with some normal people. That's a little bit of a fish out of water scenario. They move to this rural town. They discover some things that are a little unsettling, but it quickly goes from a little unsettling to extremely terrifying and evil. And there are a lot of, I think, twists and turns and layers. And I will just say that you probably will not expect where each of the main characters ends up in the middle of the book versus where they end up in the end of the book. Okay. So hopefully it'll surprise people. Everybody, all of the beta readers were like, wow, I was surprised. So hopefully people are surprised.
No, it's a good book, and it's definitely I was gonna say we've really expanded it as well as clarified things in the final manuscript. So I'm really excited where it went. And if you do want to get a copy of it right now, Sentinel, if you'd like to pre-order, we will be doing hardcovers and paperbacks. You can pre-order that pretty soon off of my website at www.erieriverpublishing.com. And there's also going to be some author signed copies and swag available as well pretty soon. So thank you everyone for joining. Thank you, Drew, for coming.
Thank you. This has been a pleasure.
Yeah. Stick around for Drew. I want to talk to you after, but for everyone else, I want to, oops, hold on one second.
Give them the boot.
Yeah, pretty much. I just want to show you guys, I've got some stuff. Now, I'm not going to open them today, but we had mail day. So do you know what that means? That means I am going to be opening up packages tomorrow. So stick around tomorrow, same time, same place, and we are going to be opening up some stickers. So, Sentinel, Drew Starling, get it in your shopping cart. Thank you so much for joining, everybody. And just for all of those that missed the amazing trailer, here it is one last time.